Hey there, this is the post workshop phone call training. Now, this part of the program is essential to get the best results. Those offices that are getting the best results are absolutely following this process because doing this one thing can up to double your return on investment with the program. Okay, now the key in this is consistency and consistently doing this and making it a priority in your practice. So what is this? This is calling those leads that one didn't schedule, those that people that attended the workshop but didn't schedule, the no shows, and those people who who said they were unable to attend. So if we go in and look at the lead flow here in the lead management system, so anyone in new leads, who at the end of the night, again, they're going to end up at the end of the night and unable to attend and no show, and then attended, right? Okay, that's where they should be. And then of course the attended people, you're going to move over to attended did not schedule, or new patient exam for those that did schedule. So who you want to call is the people who attended did not schedule, right? Because those people very much could still be great potential patients in your practice. They just didn't say yes that night. And maybe they needed to talk to someone or want to think about it, or maybe they just need a phone call to build more certainty, trust, and credibility. And then those people who no showed and were unable to attend. Okay, now this document here is going to have this training. Okay, so this training will be placed here, so you can come back and watch anytime. Again, the keys to success is consistently doing this after each workshop. Okay, remember, you're going to have somewhere, show rates are typically somewhere between 20 to 35%. Okay, depending upon the area and the region of the country. Okay, so based upon that, that means there are a whole lot of highly qualified leads. These leads are telling you why they want to attend your workshop, right? So when you go to, you click on their names and you go to additional info, you see that this person said, my son has these challenges. Well, that's referring to the NDD, the neurodevelopmental topic. So that person's child either is having, autism, ADHD, sensory processing, so big issues in their lives. So all these people are telling you these are highly qualified leads that by following this process, you can easily schedule anywhere from 1 to 4 new patient appointment exams from this. So here's the keys to success. Again, consistency and making it a priority, doing it every time. Before you call, anchoring to your why. Okay, this is important. Anchoring to, like, what's at stake for you, and what your why. I'm sure is because you chose chiropractic to save lives and to impact lives. So remember, those people are just waiting for us to show up. They didn't show up to your workshop because lots of things come up in their lives. There may be a really good reason. Maybe there was a meltdown at home, maybe a car accident, all sorts of different things, right? And so think of it like casting out a lifesaver. You're giving them this opportunity to interact with you so that you can make an impact in their lives. So anchor to your why, and then anchor to their why. Okay, know why they registered. I just showed you how to find that. Make sure you are aware of that, and then just think of the bigness of what's at stake, for that person, if we're not able to get through to them and reach them. Okay, so that will help put you in the right state of mind. Now, it's important to really also think, a lot of times people get into, they have fear of rejection and fear of all these fears pop up, but realize this, that most people, think about this. How many times have you been called by a specialist, by a doctor, even after the first visit, right? That's extremely rare. Now we're talking about people, they registered for a class and now the doctor's calling them because they're concerned and want to learn more about them, right? So people are not going to be upset. Now, there's always those off chances of people like just saying, oh, like, stop calling. There's people who are really upset or just irritable people. Listen, that's not about you. If we make it about ourselves, then we're making it about our ego. Okay, that's that person. Someone kicked Zig Ziglar, one of the top personal development gurus. He kind of started the thing years and years ago, or definitely super influential in the beginning. He would often say, you never know who kicked their cat, meaning that you don't know what's going on in that person's life. Or the point is, it's not about you. Okay, so remember that, and remember what's at stake. So anytime we open our mouths, we are selling. Okay, so with this phone call in mind, we need to think about what we're selling on this call. Okay, so there's 8 concepts, 8 stages of selling. Okay, number 1, when the lead answers the call, or when you're leaving a voicemail, you're selling them on, number 1, you. Okay, and then your right to have a conversation with them, to take up their time. Right, so you're calling them out of the blue. They're not expecting it. You didn't have an appointment. Now you got to quickly sell them on you and your right to have a conversation with them. Once that's been established, then you're selling them on the fact that you care. Right, now they, and you'll see in the script below how all of this is built into the script. So we're selling them on the fact that you care. Then we're selling them on the idea that you are valuable and you have information/resources that they need and or want. Okay, so now you're increasing your value, to them. And then again, we need to go back to selling that you care. Right, this is the critical piece: empathy and the reason for reaching out. Next, we're selling them on the fact that you are credible. That you're a credible person, that you are, that you're an expert, that they should want to, that they should be happy that you called. So only after all those steps have been completed are you ready to actually sell them on the opportunity to come in for an exam. See, most of the time, people just skip those steps and go straight to the exam and that offer. We have to, in order to sell them on that, we have to get them to, we have to go through these other steps. For anyone to say yes to anything you're selling, they have to be at a 10 in terms of trust, credibility, and rapport in you, the product, and service. Now we're talking about doing that in a short phone call. That's why this process and these steps are crucial. And trust me, I've done this over and over again. I perfected this over the years because I consistently did this and got great results doing it. So then after that, if you get pushback on the exam offer, then you need to sell them again on the fact that you're trustworthy and credible. And you can take a step back and build that through testimonials, and not trying to convince anybody here though at that point. Okay, that's not the point of the call. If they're giving you pushback, you can see if there's an opportunity to increase your trustworthiness and credibility. However, then we're going to, if they're getting pushback on the exam, then it's now time to sell them on coming to your next workshop. And this little piece, this is a quick tidbit. This is great for when you're getting potential new patient phone calls that are not workshop related. People who you're doing the pre-qualification process, or your staff is doing a pre-qualification scene, and maybe that you get some pushback on pricing or something else, and they're not quite ready. And that's when I would always say, hey, Mary, before we even talk, schedule that first exam, I think, why don't we do this? We're doing a neurodevelopmental disorders workshop next Wednesday at 6:30, and we find the people that come to that class, they get the best results because we share all kinds of great information and resources, and then we share more about how we specifically help so many children and families with these type of challenges. So that way people really understand, what it is we do. And we also offer people a special opportunity that night for a discounted exam. I think that would be the best route for you. How does that sound? Right. So that's a great tip on, when you're getting pushback on the phone in other situations. Now, here's the process. Okay, so you're going to call all the attended and did not schedule. So all the people who didn't schedule that evening, went to this column, and then the no-shows and the unable to attend. And you want to call them ideally the next day or within 2 days, but within 7 days is fine. And even after that, look, if you have a ton of leads from the past and you haven't done this, there's absolutely no reason why you can't modify the language on this scripting and just make it about reaching out and that you care and say, hey, I was going through all of our registrations and I was just reading why people, register for our classes. And I saw that you had X and I just wanted to reach out and see if I could be of service, if you wanted to share more about that so we can see if I may be able to get you some resources or point you in the right direction. How's that sound? You do that and you're going to get exams out of that. Okay. So it's never too late. However, ideally with the next day and within 2 days, so if you're doing it Wednesday by the end of the week, and if not, then keep doing them because there could be a lot of calls, do it in a manageable way. If you're doing like 5 a day, 10 a day, whatever it is, make a copy of this Google Sheet. So go ahead and click that link right there. Click right here on file and make a copy. Okay, you can't edit this particular one. Make a copy, then you'll own that one and you can edit it. This is to track the people. So put their name, the workshop title, the date of the workshop, and then now their first phone call, the date of the first phone call when you called them, the time, so you can track that to see the best times too, and then comments here. So the first phone call, let's say you connected with John Smith, put that and put the results of the call. Maybe he'd like you to follow up later, or maybe you left a voice message, whatever it is, put your comments here. And then if you did leave a message, put the second phone call date, which should be within 3 to 4 days or so. Okay. So put that, so then when to follow up with that. Okay. So then back to this, you want to call the lead directly from within the lead management system to streamline the process. And, so you should already know this, but your leads, you can call them directly. I could call this person right now and it would call them. You can also text them by clicking that, but now you can do this from the desktop. I would do it from a cell phone and use the app. So here's the Apple download, here's the Android download. If you don't already have that on your phone. And remember, when you call or text from the app, it's not calling from your cell phone or texting from your cell phone. It's going to do it from your number associated with your marketing account here. Okay, so when you get a voicemail, leave the following message and send the following text. Okay, so all you have to do, follow this scripting. I'll read through it to give you ideas on intonation, because that's critical for these calls. And then the text message, right? Text message, you could just copy and paste that. And do that right after, because you text them too, that you can get a great response from text. Okay, you might not get as great a response from voice message. I would still do it though. So here's an example. Hey, Mary, this is Dr. Steve. We had you registered for our neurodevelopmental disorders class last night, and hey, we know things come up, so I just wanted to take a quick moment to reach out and see if I could offer any support and resources. I also saw in your registration for the class that you wanted to attend the class because you have 2 children with autism, and we help so many children with those same and similar challenges in the office. So I just wanted to offer my time and expertise to learn more about your family's particular situation and see what more I can learn there, see how I can help. So just go ahead and give us a call at 6, put the number there, and we'd be happy to arrange a time. Oh, and also just want to let you know you'll be receiving some emails with the resources that we promised the attendees last night. So be sure to check your email and don't hesitate to let us know if we can help. Looking forward to connecting soon. Take care. So that's the type of message you want to leave there. Okay. Now, text message I mentioned, just then right after that, just go into the app itself, click on their name right here, or click right here, paste that in, and hit send, and you're good, right? So just the only thing you need to change then is the obviously their first name, their first name, your first name, the name of the workshop, and the reason they wanted to attend. Make it relevant, right? Okay, so when the lead answers the phone call, you're going to use the script below. And it says be sure to watch this training video. I would watch this multiple times, especially this next part about the tonalities and what we're trying to get across, and then document everything on that sheet that I just showed you. Okay, so areas in bold here, are areas where we're emphasizing the word. Okay. So let's break it down line by line and talking about what we're doing, and then we'll do the whole thing. Okay. So it goes like this. Hey, Mary, like it's you want to do it quickly. Hey, Mary, this is Dr. Steve, and increase the tonality, the intonation at the end. What you're trying to do. Hey, Mary, like it's kind of like, hey, like it's a friend, like they should know. Hey, Mary, right? Like they should know you. So if it causes them to pause, this is Dr. Steve, right? Now, also the way I've increased the tonality of the intonation there, it's also like, yeah, you should know me. Like you're causing them to pause long, and so that you can get to the next line there. Okay. Yeah, we had you registered for. Now, notice I'm talking quickly because we don't have a lot of time. There's times where we want to talk quickly and then slow it down. We want to talk quickly right there. Yeah, we had you registered for our neurodevelopmental disorders class last night. And hey, we know things come up and people aren't always able to make it. Now, I purposely say we had you registered for our unraveling neurodevelopmental disorders class last night. And hey, now that's where you're purposely trying to minimize that they didn't come. Okay, because people might feel like obliged to, oh, I'm sorry, like, or feel bad. We don't want that. So we want to quickly, we're letting them know how they know us by saying we had you register for the class, right? So you're creating connection, rapport, and hey, we know things come up and people aren't always to make it, which is, and then so there's a bit of a pause, which always able to make it, which is why I'm calling you now, which to number one, so which is why I'm calling you now. So you want to you a small pause, and then which is why I'm calling you now. And that's, again, you're slowing that down because now they're thinking, okay, why are you calling, right? So you're hooking them, which is why I'm calling you now. To number one, emphasize to number one, now they're thinking, okay, when you do that, now they start to order the things that you're going to say and start waiting for the next thing too. So number one, make sure you get access to the information and resources that we promised the attendees last night, right? Access. That's an important word. People want access. They want special access. Number one, to make sure you get access to the information and resources that we promised to the attendees last night. And now this next part is kind of like matter of fact and quickly. So to number one, make sure you get access to the information and resources that we promised to the attendees last night. And you may have already seen that email. If not, you'll be receiving it shortly. Like notice, it's just like kind of matter of fact, like, oh, by the way, and hey, just so you know, those emails will contain a ton of great resources. So make sure you open those, right? So that we're still doing that kind of matter of the fact. It's kind of like a sidebar. And hey, just so you know, like that's important too. And hey, just so you know, now they're leaning in. They're thinking, know what? Those emails, that's like creating FOMO. Okay, those emails. In fact, we're going to bold that. Those emails will contain a ton, right? Emphasize and exaggerate. Will create a ton of great resources. So make sure you open those. You speed it up at the end. So it's like matter of fact, like, yeah, make sure you do that thing. But more importantly, the other reason that I'm calling is that I saw you shared on your registration form that you, and then whatever it is, that you have 2 children with autism, that you have, your child is having seizures, that X, Y, and Z, right? Whatever it is. And increase. Now, this is where you pour on the empathy, right? And none of this is acting. This is performing. Hopefully, that's why we talked about anchoring to your why and their why, right? This is not about manipulating people. This is about getting through to them so that they will do what's in their best interest. But more importantly, the other reason that I'm calling is that I saw you. So this is where it starts. I saw you shared on your registration form, that X, Y, and Z is going on. That Johnny's, that your child is, right. I'd love to hear more of that. More about that. Right. So you're layering it on. I'd love to hear more about that. And we've had so many whether it's children or families, however it applies, people, if it's just for that individual, we help so many people with same and similar challenges. So I just wanted to reach out and see how I may be able to help and learn more about what's going on for you and your family to make sure I help get you the resources you need. How's that sound? Right? So slight pause right there. And then how's that sound? That's critical, right? That you add that. Very few people can say, no, that sounds horrible, or no, they might say no, thank you. But most people, if you do this well, and if you're at this point already and you've effectively, I saw that you're being empathetic, you're really caring. Like I saw that you had this situation going on. Tell me, I'd love to hear more about that. In fact, I'm going to put that here, and I'd love to hear more about that. Right? So how's that sound, right? So now they're most likely at that point going to tell you more. So just listening, you're building more rapport. You're looking for opportunities to build trust and credibility, and then you start to, now you're waiting for the time when you start to make it about the nervous system, right? Based upon what you're telling me, Mary, these are exactly the types of challenges we help all the time. In fact, right? This is where now you're going to build trust and credibility. In fact, just last week we had a child who they had previously been experiencing X, Y, and Z, right? Make it relevant, whatever it is, and don't make it up, but use relevant clinical information, experiences, results in your practice to make it relevant to them, and then also to the nervous system, because they may hear that you're helping, but now they're like, they know you're a chiropractor. How's that connect? Or they're not sure how it's relevant. So, in just last week, Johnny had his progress exam, and man, his nervous system scans looked amazing. In this office, we check the nervous system. Now, there's two sides to the nervous system. This is where I would encourage you to do a mini autonomic nervous system description, right? Just like at the workshops. So there's two sides to that nervous system. One side we're all very intimately familiar with. That's the fight or flight response. In fact, most of us are living in that state, right? With our busy lifestyles and everything. So that fight or flight system is really positive when there's an actual danger. If there's a tiger in the room or trucks barreling down at you, your body has to jump into action and kick on that stress response. However, we can get stuck in that state. In fact, when that happens, and it happens often, it leads to the breakdown of the body, and the body can't heal, because the other side of that nervous system is the resting, healing, and digesting system. Right? That's the system that controls, all the organ systems and our heart rate, breathing, respiration, healing, rest, digesting, all those different things. Right? And so in our office, we actually measure that, right? And we know exactly what's going on there. So in our office, we perform a comprehensive and non-invasive examination of the nervous system and a thorough consultation, so we know exactly what's going on and if we can help or not, and if not, where to direct you to get the help you need. So, at the workshop, we gave the attendees a very special opportunity for that initial exam. That visit where we perform the nervous system testing I just told you about. We sit down and go through your complete health history and perform a thorough exam is $325. However, at the class last night, we offered that for only $150. Now, from what you shared with me, it sounds like you were having some pretty major interference in your nervous system, and that exam would show us exactly how much interference is present, how long it's been there, and most importantly, what it's going to take to correct it. Right? Okay, so let's break that down. So I just gave you a ton of great information on how to make what you do in your office relevant. The fight or flight people can connect with. They know that, but they don't know the other side, and they don't know that they can get stuck there, and they don't understand those pieces. So that's how you make it relevant. Then you tell them, notice exactly is on there 1, 2, 3 times exactly. That's certainty, trust, credibility. We know exactly what's going on, right? So that's critical. And then now we're at this part. So let's go. So how long it's been there, and most importantly, what it's going to take to correct it. So that's important too. That's certainty. That's confidence. But the first step is just finding out. Right now, this is now making it easy. The next step. What's the next step? It's finding out. But the first step, is just finding out. Now, just as a minimizer. Okay, we're using it purposefully there, but the next step is just finding out, right? And listen to the tone. It's like, it's warm, it's comforting, it's come with me. I'll be your guide. I'm going to guide you along this journey. It's just, let's just find out together. But the first step is just finding out. So I'd love to, now the energy increases, right? We went from this warm, comforting to, so I'd love, I would use love too. So I'd love to offer you that same workshop opportunity for the initial visit. And quite honestly, I would be surprised if we can't help. Right. So let's, that's certainty, that's confidence. So I'd love to offer you that same workshop opportunity for the initial visit, and dramatic pause. And quite honestly, I would be surprised if we can't help. How does that sound, Mary? Right now, at that point, man, if you've done that in that manner, most people are going to say yes. You might get some pushback on cost, or if the person's busy and all these things, right? But that most likely, if you got to that point, they would have already told you all those other things, like I'm too busy right now or whatever, right? And they might be too busy. It doesn't mean don't call them back, right? Now, if you get pushback, then this is where you transition to selling them on coming to your next workshop. I already talked about that, but here it is right here. First name, Mary, before we, this is where you're taking a step back, right? And you'll see my body language. I'm doing it in the chair. I would encourage you to, the same body language if someone's in front of you, to do the same thing. Mary, and even hear my voice, it's like, Mary, before we even look at you coming in for the initial visit, I think the best thing for you would be to come to our next class, right? So I think the best thing for you would be to come to our next class. People who come to those classes typically get the best results because we share all kinds of information that you can employ on your own, as well as going deeper into the nervous system and how we specifically help. That way you get access to that information and learn more about how we can specifically help you and how we work. How's that sound? Our next class is 6:30 on Wednesday. I really think that would be the best next step. How's that sound? Right. So that's the thing. That's the sell at that point. Okay. If you're getting a lot of pushback, it's not going the right direction, then go back to this. So let's go through the whole thing. Okay. So, hey, Mary, this is Dr. Steve. Yeah. We had you registered for our Unraveling Neurodevelopmental Disorders class last night. And hey, we know things come up and people aren't always able to make it, which is why I'm calling you now to, number one, make sure you get access to the information and resources that we promised to the attendees last night. And you may also have already seen an email on that. If not, you'll be receiving it shortly. And hey, just so you know, those emails will contain a ton of great resources. So make sure you open those. But more importantly, the other reason that I'm calling is that I saw you share on your registration form that you have 2 children with autism. And we know how challenging that is. And so I just wanted to reach out here and I'd love to hear more about that. Hearing this off now, okay, just pause that. At that point, now they may start talking, right? You're giving them an opportunity to, they'd be like, oh, wow, thank you. Yeah, that's, so they might start talking and go directly into it. So you may not need that next section. But if not, if they just kind of give you a little bit, then I would say the next section, because this is where you're building more trust and credibility. We help so many families and children with same and similar challenges. And so I just wanted to reach out and see how maybe it will help and learn more about what's going on for you and your family to make sure I help get the resources you need. How's that sound? Would you like to share more? Right? They're going to talk. Based upon what hey, based upon what you're saying, Mary, these are exactly the type of challenges we help all the time. In fact, we just had a child who was not speaking. They came in 3 months ago. Initially, child was having major neurodevelopmental delays, and just like Tommy that you mentioned, and we just had his second progress exam, where we look at the non-invasive nervous system scans. We saw all kinds of great progress there, but more importantly, mom is telling us that now the teachers are thrilled. In fact, they're wondering what's changed because his language has exploded. And so that's just one example, but we see so many types of cases like that. So so then you go more into the autonomic nervous system, like we've talked about. Or you could go at that point, and right there, I might go directly into in our office. In our office, we perform, that comprehensive and non-invasive nervous system scan that I just mentioned, and we have a thorough consultation so that we know exactly what's going on and if we can help or not. And if not, where to direct you to get the help you need. We have a wide network of individuals, providers in the area. So, at the workshop, we actually gave the attendees a special opportunity for that initial exam I just mentioned. That visit where we perform that nervous system testing and we go through your complete history and the exam is X amount in our office. However, at the class last night, we offered it for only X. Right? And from what you shared with me, it sounds like you are having some, like Tommy's having some pretty major interference in his nervous system. And that exam shows exactly how much interference is present, how long it's been there, and most importantly, what it's going to take to correct it. But the first step is just finding out. And so I love to offer you that same opportunity for the initial exam. And quite honestly, I would be surprised, based upon all the kids that we've helped in this office, that if we couldn't help. How's that sound, Mary? Should we go ahead and schedule that exam? Right. So I'm going to add that here. Exam. And then I'm going to add this. I have a Tuesday at, I would give 2 times. Tuesday morning, or and actually I would say I have both a morning and afternoon appointment later this week. How's that sound? Right. So then we got the pushback portion. If they do give the pushback, and then you go back to hey, Mary, before we even look at having you come in for that initial visit, I think the best thing, before, we actually look at Tommy's nervous system is for you to come to our next class. People who come to those classes typically get the best results because we share all kinds of great information that you can employ on your own, as well as going deeper into the nervous system and how we specifically help. That way that you can get access to that information and learn more about how we specifically help you and how we work. How's that sound? Our next class is Wednesday of next week at 6:30. Should we go ahead and put you down for that? They're going to say yes, and say, great, here's what I'm going to do next, right? And then you take them down, you put them into your lead marketing system, you add them to the notification campaign, and they're good to go. So go back, watch this training multiple times, practice the tonality of it with someone else. If you want to get on the coaching calls on Mondays, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we can practice there. If you don't, as a doctor, don't have the time to do this, you can train. There's no reason why a team member can't do this. The key factor is going to be they got to be super confident in that your office can help. They got to build trust and credibility in you as the expert and your office. So thanks for watching. Employ this as part of your practice and your routines, and make it a priority, and you will absolutely see your new patient numbers skyrocket. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.